Morning, afternoon, Felicity.
It is. We've been talking for a while already, hasn't it? So it's
We
slipped
have.
into the afternoon. How are you, my dear? Well, I know you're
I'm
doing good.
good. Yeah, I'm good. My brother's visiting us at the moment, so it's been lovely to see him. Not
Wonderful.
seen him for a little while.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm just getting out, getting into the fresh air. Went to the beach yesterday, went for a lovely swim in the sea.
Oh, well done. Yes, I slept
Yeah.
today too, which was pretty hardcore. I don't know. Was it, how cold was it with you? It was 10
Oh
degrees
my
here.
God, I don't even recall how cold it was, but the water was bloody freezing. Kitty got in with her. Kitty just gets in. She just amazes me. She jumps in with her bikini. She just goes, right, 3, 2, 1, let's go. She's in it. I've got my wetsuit on and everything.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah, but it's amazing how when you get into the cold, icy water, you sort of, it takes your breath away. But once you're
Yeah.
swimming, it's just, you feel amazing,
It's
especially when you've got your wetsuit. It's not that cold, really, with your
No,
wetsuit.
not once you're in, but it's so invigorating, isn't it? And I have made the commitment now that I'm going to continue all through the winter. And thankfully, I've got a group of friends that it's the Walpole Bay
Good.
paddlers near me, so we're going to do it.
Good.
Hardcore, but no, it's got so many health benefits, hasn't it, swimming in cold water? But I
Oh
wouldn't
my
be doing
God.
it on my own probably. So, yeah.
Yeah, no, amazing. So no, I've had a really good week work-wise. There's been lots going on, just trying to finalize a few bits.
Mhm.
But no, how's your week been?
It's been really great. I mean, it's early days, isn't it? But it's been busy like you. Just really, I had a lovely day yesterday where I kind of got a real sense of order, because for a little while I've been, thinking I've got to do this, got to do this, got to do this. Typical story of the entrepreneur, isn't it? Particularly if you're a solopreneur, that when you start off. But I'm feeling, we said before we got on the call, I feel a bit more order, and I'm just actually really enjoying everything that I'm doing at the moment, without kind of thinking, okay, what's this going to achieve? What's this going to generate? Don't get me wrong, I'm obviously want to be generating income and paying my bills, but I'm actually enjoying the process, and I'm remembering why I'm in this work. So yeah, it's been really good from that point of view.
Brilliant. And we're talking today about questions, because
Yes.
exactly that.
Yes.
I remember going to one of Tony's seminars. I don't know if it was UPW or if it was probably was UPW, and he talks about change your questions,
Yes,
change your life, doesn't he? Change
totally.
the questions that you're asking yourselves, and you completely change your life.
Yeah.
I know he goes on to say, the clearer you are with what it is that you want, the faster your brain can get you there.
Yeah, definitely. We our brain is absolutely amazing. Whatever question you ask it, it'll find you an answer. The only trouble is, half the time it's running on automatic, isn't it? And it's running a whole autopilot and running a whole load of questions that we're not even really aware that we're asking ourselves. And often those questions, unless we're really conscious about it and pay attention, can be quite negative. It's just like, what's some of those questions? Why is this happening to me? You said, wasn't it?
Yeah. Why did this happen to me? Why do I always end up here? Why am I so unlucky?
Why is it so hard?
Why is it so difficult? Yeah. And as we know, we get what we focus on.
Totally.
Because when we ask ourselves those questions, why is it so difficult? Your brain's going to come up with the answer as to why it's so difficult. And then you're going to feel the difficult.
Yeah, because it's that brilliant computer. You ask it a question, it'll give you an answer, information in, and that's what it'll generate. So we were saying, weren't we need to be asking ourselves better questions. First of all, we need to be aware of the questions we're asking ourselves, so we can think, oh, hang on a minute, I don't want to ask myself that. I went through a period, thankfully it's a good few years ago now, where I just had one thing after another, and I just, the question I realized I was asking was, what's going to happen next? What other bad things going to happen next? And then something else had come up, and I managed to catch myself in the middle of it. I was actually listening to Michael Beckwith, who people might know from The Secret, and he was talking about stages of consciousness, and he said one of the first stages of consciousness is victim, and if you're in a victim vibration, I'm not accusing anyone on the call or listening to the call and being in victim vibration, but I certainly was at the time. I felt so sorry for myself. Everything kept going wrong. But he said, you know, if you're in that vibration and you keep asking the questions of what else is going to happen like this to me, then you're just creating it, you're perpetuating it. So I cut myself short on that one and was like, a really great question that he offered is, how can it get better than this? And that question works whether you're in a really great situation, because you can just say, oh, this is so amazing, how can it get even better? But if you're in a really bad situation, it's just asking that computer to show you how things can turn around.
Definitely. And it's funny, I was thinking about this, because when we spoke about talking about this today, my kids, so I've got 3 kids, and they ask questions constantly. Like they literally ask questions every minute of every day. But then and to the point it can get frustrating. You're like, just ask your dad, or you sort of give them an answer and you just sort of like you're just answering just for the sake of answering. But they're so inquisitive, kids. They ask so many questions. They're so inquisitive. They so want to learn and they want to understand. But I think as we get older, we stop doing that. We stop asking ourselves questions. And like you say, it's like we constantly just regurgitate the same thing. Why is it happening to me? Why can't I get past this bit? Why, you know, why am I so unlucky?
Totally.
Why am I broke? Why am I unable to achieve that? It's like, it's really a case of reprogramming, like we speak about, and we have done in the other podcasts. But what it comes down to is our thinking and trying to reprogram that subconscious mind. Because if we're asking ourselves that same question and it's a negative question, our mind is going to come up with an answer for it.
Definitely.
And I think be a negative answer.
Well, it will be, if we've asked it, that if that's the information we've put in, the response we'll get out will be of the same nature, won't it? And to be fair, I think it's important for us, you know, and particularly with people listening as well, not to beat ourselves up too much, because, you know, the media and the news is often social media as well, is, you know, constantly feeding us worst case scenario, what dreadful thing's going to happen next, you know. So we have to be quite conscious, the same as, you know, what you think about what you put into your body. If I put all, you know, burgers and chips and all this into my body all the time, what's going to be the end result? And that we've talked about this already, haven't we? You know, what I put in my mind, what questions I'm you know, stimulating myself to ask those negative questions. And even if there's great opportunities around, what I'm going to be ready for is looking for the danger and looking for the negativity. So we need to be really careful that we're aware of the questions we're asking ourselves, don't we? I know Tony Robbins, I remember when I did, I don't know if it was you anyway, did one of his events, I came away with a little checklist, and he does morning questions, doesn't he? What are the questions I'm going to ask myself at the beginning of the day? So how do I want to see myself today? Who do I want to be today? One of the things I ask myself in the morning is like, what kind of state do I want to embody today? And one of that, it'll always be like optimistic. I want to be optimistic. I want to be receptive to good things that are happening. So
I love that. And I think when you're asking yourself the right questions, that's what moves you forward. That's what moves the needle. So I know, for like, just as thinking myself, when it came to me building yellow brick roads, I was like, okay, what is it that I want? So what do I want yellow brick roads to be about? What do I want? And once I established, right, well, this is what I want to do, this is what I want to be able to achieve, what am I going to focus on? What am I going to focus on first? Because that really does go, right, okay, you get down to the nitty gritty. Okay, what's the first thing that I can do to move closer to what I want?
Totally.
And like I say, then it offers up the question, what do I need to do?
So
what do I want? What am I going to focus on? And what do I need to do? They're 3 great questions that are going to help you get from where you are today to where it is that you want to be tomorrow.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things, I know we were talking before the call today, before the podcast today, was, you know, one of the ones, and I kind of alluded to it a little while ago, is who do I want to be? Who do I need to be? For me to be the business owner, for me to be the leader, who do I need to be? And I know with the work that you do, Emma, a lot around with women and confidence, if I want to be a leader and a role model in whatever field that I'm in, I need to be that confident woman, don't I? I need to be, you know, believe in myself. I need to be well informed, all of those things. So I think, you know, who do I need to be as this person is a really powerful question as well.
I think as well, so many of us, we ask ourselves questions. So we might ask, what do I want? But then we don't do anything. We ask ourselves the question, what do I want? But then we don't take any action.
Yeah, absolutely.
So it's important that once we decide that we want to do something, that we don't just sit back and just think it's going to just unfold. You have to do something. You have to move, don't you?
Absolutely.
You have to move and you have to take action and start taking, no different to that lovely quote that you just sent to me, taking those small baby steps to get you there.
Yeah, totally. And I think that, again, even in that situation, we could ask ourselves a better question. Why haven't I taken action?
Yes.
And then if we come back, if our computer comes back with the response, because I'm rubbish, because I'm lazy, because I'm blah, 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 then that is actually good information too, because it's showing you how you see yourself. So if you see yourself as rubbish and lazy or just incompetent or whatever, you need to be kind of shifting your belief about that, don't you? Because I remember years ago at the beginning of the business when I started off with huge enthusiasm and no clue and no strategy, no preparation, just a lot of passion. You know, passion's great, but it'll only get you so far. And I wasn't taking action. And a friend of mine who's a coach, she really drills down on her questions, and she's a little bit like a terrier with a bone. She just wouldn't let it go, and she wouldn't say, oh, I haven't done anything today. And then she said to me, why haven't you done anything? And I said, oh, well, because I'm busy. And she's like, no, why haven't you done? Oh, because blah, blah, blah. And then she just kept on. And in the end, the answer that came out of my mouth, which I was really shocked about, but got my attention, was, well, I'm going to fail anyway. So why would I bother? And sometimes it's your 7-level deep you've talked about.
Definitely.
Sometimes when we really drill down, we uncover something that is, it's good that it's come to our attention, so we can go, actually, I'm not settling for that. That's not who I'm prepared to be. And, you know, what do I need to change? And of course, our big why, another great question, why do I want this? What is it going to generate for my life, for other people's lives? Help us think, you know, even if we do think, oh, I don't know what I'm doing, well, we can learn. We've got there's so much out there at the moment, so much great free learning online, opportunities to upskill. There's no excuse to just say, oh, I don't know how to do that, because you get online and learn it.
We have an open and curious mind, don't we?
Totally.
And if we ask it the right questions, it's going to come up with the right answers. All right, you might feel the answer that it comes up with, it might be bloody nerve-wracking, and you might think, Jesus, I can't go towards that, but it's going to come up with the right answers. And then it's just like we say, taking that little bit of action, just that little bit of action to get you a little bit closer to where it is that you want to go.
Totally. And I love, there's another question I love, and I don't know if I've mentioned this before in the podcast, but I love to play with, and with people when I'm working with, you know, when I'm coaching and people seem stuck, I'll say, it's the what if question. Well, what if you could be that leader that you want to be? What if you could create a successful business? What if you could stand up and speak in front of people and, you know, at a public speaker event? And again, it just helps you to get unstuck, because you've asked the mind a question, it has to come back with the answer. If you keep asking it, it'll actually give you those, and as we said, baby steps. It's not like overnight you're going to be standing on some stage in front of 2,000 people. It's like, what if I did a Facebook Live?
Start somewhere. You've got to start somewhere. That's the thing, isn't it? You've just got to start. And I think if we can get, it's just that getting into the mind, and like we say, working on that subconscious mind, because that's just the patterns, isn't it? When you ask yourself the negative stuff, or if you've been asking yourself the negative stuff, you've got into pattern of asking yourself the same questions. Your subconscious
Totally.
mind runs 95% of your day, right?
Absolutely.
So
And
if
most
you've
of
got
it,
into,
sorry, Emma.
no, that's what I was going to say. So if you've got into the pattern of asking yourself, why is it me? Why do I fail? Why can't I achieve this? Why does it always happen to me? It's like that's going to show up every single day.
Yeah. And it's actually having the awareness, recognizing it and thinking, is that me? Is that the person I want to be? Or, you know, or is this not even, you know, am I picking up on other like social conditioning, other people's opinions, something that my school teacher said when I was 12? Is it outdated? Are these beliefs and our identity, the way that we're looking at ourselves, is it outdated? And do we need to be asking ourselves, how can I shift this identity? What can I do to shift this identity? What can I do to be the person that will achieve what I want to achieve, be what I want to be? Yeah, it's tough at first. We won't pretend it isn't, because it's an unconscious conditioning, isn't it? It's a habit that runs on its own.
You don't even,
and
you're
most
not thinking
people,
about it as such.
not thinking about it, and most people around us are thinking that way, particularly during the pandemic, because people are scared, and then, you know, their response is to look for danger. So that running those patterns is, you know, to keep us, our unconscious mind wants to keep us safe. It's not really interested in our happiness. It's interested in our survival. It's like, keep us safe. Don't let it get out there and do anything risky right now, because there's enough danger. But we have the power to choose what we're focusing on and what we're thinking about. And by asking better questions, we can really start to turn that juggernaut around so that it's going in the direction we want it to go.
And I've seen that, you know, in what I'm doing. When I ask a better question, I get a better answer. Always.
Totally. Yeah.
And it's true, isn't it?
Definitely. So do you have morning questions when you get up?
I prepped what I've got going on the next day, the night before, but I will get up in the morning and go, right, what am I going to focus on today? What's my focus on today? And I also ask myself, what do I want to achieve? So what's my outcome? What do I want my outcome to be today? Now that might be, I want my outcome to be, I want to get my butt to the gym. I want to do a bit of exercise. It might be, right, I've got, if I'm creating a bit of content, I want to get it out, or I've got to post it, or I've got to upload something, I want to get that done today. So like we spoke about in the videos, a couple of videos before, a couple of podcasts before now, trying to narrow it down so I've not got too much on my to-do list.
Very wise.
You have like those three things that I'm going to go, this is what I'm going to focus on. But I do tend to think about what I want my outcome to be, rather than what I've necessarily got to achieve to get there. Does that make sense?
Totally. Absolutely, because you can end up doing a different task but actually still achieve the same outcome. Or it's still working towards, because there's, you know, there's all different facets to that outcome, aren't there?
So I do ask myself questions in the morning. I love what you said. I don't write it down. I wouldn't write it down, but I love that. I love writing it down, because even if I want this to be my outcome, rather than all the things I need to do, who do I need to be to achieve that outcome?
Totally.
You know, so I need to get up and I need to be, you know, engaged. I need to not be shouting at the kids. So I don't want to be I don't want to be in an angry, frustrated state. Totally, I need to be engaged. I need to be empowered. You know, there's certain things that I need to be able to achieve those. Achieve that outcome.
Very nice. Well, I got myself back into using, because, you know, I created my own success journals, and one of the things in the beginning parts of that, I, you know, asked, you know, what's the kind of feelings that you want to embody today. And I thought, well, I've been using my own journal for ages. I thought, you have to practice what you preach, get back in and do it. And I love it, because it's helped me at the end of the week. I can go back and flick through. After having a couple of weeks ago, a couple of challenging weeks, I was able to flick back through and think, no, actually things were better. And I feel like they were, because I'd written it down, so I had the evidence in writing rather than what my feelings were at the time.
Love that. That's it. It's going back over experiences, so you can justify that you feel the way that not justify, but it makes you feel better, doesn't it? You sort of, when you have that doubt, and we all have that doubt, but if you can look back over the experiences and things that you've done up till now, you can say, no, actually, I am able to do that because of this, and I can do that because of this.
Look what I've achieved.
I've done it before,
So one of the things that came out of a couple of weeks of feeling a bit blah was, I was still doing stuff, I was being productive, and I thought, I'm not enjoying it as much as I'd like to. So I asked myself the question, how can I be more joyful as I'm doing my work? Going through my day. And what it reminded me was, first of all, how much I love what I do, and that I have added value, and that's my intention to continue to add even more value. It then also made me ask myself, what things make me joyful? And I'd remembered that I've let go my morning. I'm trying to do a bit of exercise. It doesn't have to be hardcore every day, but I signed up to Body Groove during the first stage of lockdown. So I've got their program now, and they, give you a 20-minute, 25-minute dance routine that you can do. It's so simple. But dancing just makes me feel so in the moment and childlike, and it really fuels my joy. So what things fuel my joy? Okay, let's do more of that. And then I get back and sit back down at my desk. And I'm loving what I'm doing again. And then if I've got music on in the background and a track comes up, I've been listening to 90s UK garage. My head away a bit, but it's such joyful music. And a track comes on that I remember being on the dance floor 19 in the nightclub,
loving it, throwing your arms up.
I'm having a little, busting the moves. And it is, and I've laughed at myself. I think I wanted to say something when you said about your children. They're so curious, but they're so everything's wonderful. They look at everything with the eyes of wonder as well.
It's amazing.
There's the playfulness as well. And
that's the thing. It's joyful. It's amazing, but but then, like I say, as a parent, you sometimes get frustrated because there's so many questions. And you're like, for God's sake, it's like constant, but they're so curious and they're looking for answers, and they're not negative in that way. Well, my kids, they're not negative. They're just inquisitive, and they just want to learn, and they want to understand. But I was going to say, imagine if we all woke up and asked ourselves that question that you've just said. You asked yourself, how can I be more joyful today, or what brings me joy, and how can I inject that? What can I do in my day to day that's going to make me feel that way? Imagine if we all just asked ourselves that one question every single day.
I'm loving it.
We'd all be feeling so much happier, and that's just going to rub off on everybody else. I love that.
Thank you.
How can we start a little cult of us all feeling a bit more joyful?
Well, indeed.
What can we do? That's the question.
We could post what's made me feel joyful today. Let's do a 30-day challenge on that, on our, just not like, if you want to do it and join in, please do. We'd love that. But let's do a 30-day challenge. Just post every day what's made me feel joyful. On Insta and Facebook. Let's do that.
Stick it in our stories. Love that.
Yeah, definitely. All right.
So when it comes to you feeling, or when it comes to questions, when you ask yourself positive, empowering questions, your mind will start to search for the answers.
Absolutely.
So make sure they're positive and they're empowering.
Totally.
And just being aware, like Felicity said, being aware to it, because you are asking yourselves questions, whether you're aware of it or not. You're asking yourselves questions every day, and if they're negative questions, you're going to get negative answers, which is going to give you negative results. So it's just being aware of that.
And I love as well to kind of round the day off right as well. Like at night before I go to sleep, I'll be like, what am I grateful for today? What's happened today that's made me feel grateful? And then whatever else, there's always something, even if it's I live by the beach, or I had a nice meal, or something that made me laugh. It doesn't have to be massive. It doesn't have to be I won 5 million on the lottery, anything like that. It's just I'm so grateful that we have such beautiful sunsets in Margate. And in fact, it's out looking out the window today, and it's so grey you can hardly discern what the difference is, whether it's the sea or the sky, but it's still beautiful. And I'm so grateful for the contrast. So
definitely.
Yeah, what can we be
Love that.
grateful for? What can we
Yeah.
be grateful for? Go to sleep with that on your mind instead of
Yeah.
what's going to happen.
Panic, fear, worry,
Yeah,
anxiety. Yeah.
yeah.
And our inspiring story this week,
Yes.
I watched a documentary on
Oh,
Netflix a few weeks back, and I said to Felicity, you have to watch it.
oh, it's so beautiful.
It was beautiful, wasn't it? It was called My Octopus Teacher. So if you're
Yeah.
listening and you get a chance to watch it, just jump on and watch it. It's on for just over an hour, I think. It
Yeah.
wasn't like a full-length film or anything.
No.
But we won't say too much,
No.
aside from the fact it was, there's a guy in the documentary who gets in the water, obviously into the sea, and he builds this relationship with an octopus. But it's incredible, and it was inspiring, wasn't it? Inspiring,
totally. And it will really spark your sense of wonder at this amazing world that we live in.
So, definitely. And how we're all so connected without even realizing it.
Yeah.
And actually how when you're building that positive mindset and you're walking around and your energy's high and you're feeling positive and you're feeling alive and feeling enthusiastic, that rubs off onto other people without you even, whether you're aware of it or not, it does.
Yeah, totally. Well, it's kind of partly what inspired me to swim yesterday, because I swam last week and it was cold and it was windy, so the waves were more challenging, and then I was like, oh, I'm not sure if I am going to do this for the winter. But after seeing that, it was just like, oh, I want to experience. I mean, thankfully I don't think we've got any octopus in the Whirlpool Bay tidal pool. We have got jellyfish from time to time. I just wanted to be that sense of that connection with nature, and for me the water always really does that. So but it's such a lovely story, Emma, and thank you for introducing
me. You're welcome. I'm glad you liked it.
I loved it.
We will catch up again next week.
We will indeed. Thank you all for coming and listening to the podcast. We really appreciate you checking in with us, and we hope it's added value. Have a great week wherever you are.
Yes, take care. See you soon, my darling. Take care.
Bye, Em. Bye.
Bye, darling. Bye.